Hi guys, happy Super Bowl Sunday. I didn't even know it was Super Bowl. My granddaughter had to tell me. That's how old I am. Just not interested anymore. I used to watch it for the halftime show and I don't even know who's playing. I mean, she told me, but I still don't know who that is. And I don't watch football. And I used to watch it for just to make food. I love making Super Bowl food, but now that I'm dieting, I can't do that. And you can watch the commercials on YouTube, and my poor cat, he's sneezing. So yeah, there's no point. So hopefully you guys aren't watching either. Hopefully you're watching me. Maybe I'll be more interesting. One of these days I will. Right now I'm in my crap room again. I try to switch it up. I want to do one of those walking and talking videos like that one guy does. But he lives at the beach, and where I live is not that interesting. And I feel stupid walking around filming myself with the selfie stick and talking. And, it's awkward. You have to quit every 10 seconds when people walk by, or, just doesn't work. I don't know. I don't know. We'll try something different. But anyway, trying so hard not to say anyway, take a shot every time I say anyway. Let's see how drunk we can all get. I'm going to try so hard not to do it in this video. Today, I wanted to talk about the difference between men and women in retirement. I thought it sounded pretty interesting and not really surprising, the results, but they're interesting. And take it with a grain of salt. It's from Forbes magazine and a few others. I just went around and gathered up some info, and honestly, for everything I found just the opposite too. So I don't know what's what, but I'll give you some statistics at least, and maybe those are correct. For instance, when it comes to money, who do you think is more prepared? Who do you think makes more money? Who do you think saved more money? Well, men. Statistically, they have made more money in the past 35 years, and so they're able to save more money and they retire with more money. It said that most women have about $166,000 versus men who have $410,000 saved. I'm assuming that's talking about single men and women, because I don't have, I mean, my husband and I do together, but and then generally speaking, most women retire on less money. The thing is, women live longer than men, but they retire sooner than men. So then, you have to ask yourself, what makes, I mean, who's happier, men or women? If you would think women would not be as happy because they don't have as much money, but that's not necessarily true. That's not what they're finding. They have found that women tend to be happier. And then I read another one that said just the opposite. So like I said, but I believe this. This makes more sense to me from my personal observation. I may be wrong. I'm sure there's a lot of happy guys out there that are retired more than women, but from what I've seen, I this just seemed to make sense to me. And the reason being is that most women, we tend to be the nurturers, the caregivers with the children, and with the elderly parents. And it's more fulfilling. It gives us a sense of purpose. Also, women don't necessarily, their identity isn't as tied up in their career or jobs as most men. Not all men. I'm not going to generalize. It's not an absolute, but most likely, when you meet somebody, they tend to tell you their job when they introduce themselves, as if that's who they are. If you're a doctor or a lawyer, and that's how people introduce you. So when they quit working because their whole identity wasn't tied up in their career, they don't feel as they don't feel as inferior, I guess, or that's not the right word. It's so hot in here. I can't think. But yeah, so overall, they said that women, this particular study said that women feel better about themselves when they retire. They have more things to keep them going. They're more likely to do volunteer work, whether it's with their church, hospital, charity organizations, whatnot, helping with their grandkids. Men are less likely to do any type of volunteer work, which I don't know if that's necessarily true. I know a lot of guys that are like doing volunteer coaching and that kind of stuff. So I don't know about that aspect of it. But They said that women also tend to stay busier after retirement because we cultivate more hobbies, and um, we tend to do that after we quit working. Whereas a lot of times men are so wrapped up in their jobs and their careers that they don't have time for that. And when they do quit, they just don't have as much to keep them busy, that 40, 60 hours like they were working, you know. I thought that makes sense. I know that was the case with my dad. He worked for 82 years, and when he retired, he didn't know what to do with himself because he created this company. He was the boss. He loved it, and that was who he was. And he just, he never golfed or joined any clubs or did sports or anything like that. So he passed away just a few years after he retired, which was really sad. So it's very important that you cultivate other things outside of work, other interests, whether it's remodeling your home or even if it's traveling. You're going to have money for doing those things, but still, you've got to have outside interests. You have to have stuff to do. It's not just, I'm going to quit working and just sit at home. You've got to have other things to occupy your mind and to keep you going physically. It's important. It just is. It's important. I know my husband and I, we have so many interests. There's so many things I want to do. My biggest obstacle, of course, is going to be money because most of the things I want to do cost a lot of money. So that's another reason why I got to continue working as long as I can, because our savings is going to be more for, putting food on the table and keeping a roof over our head and hopefully doing a little bit of traveling. There's not going to be a lot of extra money because, we're poor, as people keep telling me. Well, actually, I've admitted to it too. I know. That is what my channel is all about. I'm here to talk to the other people, not the ones that were smart and saved money and inherited tons of money and, invested in, they have 401ks and all that good stuff. I'm not that person. I'm the person that just was a blue collar worker. We worked, we spent our lives just raising our families and living paycheck to paycheck. We couldn't save a whole lot. We did save some, but we always knew we were going to just have Social Security. We didn't have pensions. So, and then, like I've said repeatedly in all my other videos, all these tragedies happened, and I didn't cry about it. As one person said, "Oh, quit crying." I didn't cry. I'm just, I made this channel because I wanted to find out if there was other people like us that have experienced a series of unfortunate events that threw them off track. That's why I'm here, and to find other avenues and whether other options. That's what this is all about. It's not here to go boo-hoo and cry. I'm so sad. We're rolling with it. We're tough, but I don't know for how long. I'm healthy right now, and I could work until I'm 90, or I could suffer some kind of serious health issue and not be able to work, and then yeah, that would be a tragedy. Because as long as I can continue to work, we're okay. And yeah, that's what this is about. And I know tons of you relate to me, and you've told me there's many of you that are in the same position as me. We're not all of us were um, financially savvy, and we didn't understand how to invest. We were scared to. So, and that's not to get sympathy. And I don't want to hear. So tired of hearing from people ask me why we didn't do this. It's like, watch the videos. I'm tired of explaining it. That we just had things happen, and just like many other people had things happen, and we're trying to um, work on it. We can't change the past. We can't go back and change that. Okay. And so we're just working from here forward, and we're doing what we can. And you guys have been wonderful and given us some great options, which I am definitely looking into as we speak. But it's going to take a while. And in the meantime, I've got to keep my health up, which is my number one thing that I talk about on this channel, is being healthy, especially for us old folks. It's so important. And so that I can continue working and making that money. And hopefully someday I will be able to retire. Who knows? I probably won't be until I think maybe at 67 I would draw my Social Security, because you can continue working and still make you know you don't have to worry about a cap on what you make after that point. So that's the goal. Um, a lot of people say, no, 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 don't draw it until you're 70 when you can get the max. That's debatable. Some people even suggest that I start taking it at 62, like Sarasota Tim. And I'm 63, so it's already too late for that. So, okay, now I got off on this tangent like I always do. We were talking about retiring and the difference between men and women retiring. Men tend to get more depressed because they don't have a purpose, and they get stressed, and it leads to other health issues. And women, like I said, they tend to live longer because they don't get as stressed out about it as men do, and they don't tie their identity into their work. So I don't know what to tell you. You got to figure it out for yourself what you're going to do when you retire, but just don't stop. Just because you quit working doesn't mean you just stop. You got to find something to do after that, even if you want to go back to work doing something different than what you were doing. They said a lot of guys look forward to working at a Home Depot, believe it or not. I don't know if I do, but I see a lot of older guys working there and they enjoy it. Uh, a lot of women like to work in craft stores, crafters and stuff, and they find a lot of enjoyment because at this point they're not working necessarily for the money. They're just getting a paycheck. It's not a lot of money, but they're doing a job that's not stressful but social and fun, and that's important to stay social. Women tend to be more social, especially because with the kids and the grandkids and that kind of thing. So we tend to stay busier. Just my own observation. Don't know if it's a fact for everybody. So, and like I said, I didn't create these numbers. I'm just telling you what I'm reading. So I don't know. But I just find it interesting, and everything that I've read, it just goes along with what I've seen and what I believe. So I, and I think it's got to be different for married men versus married, or single men, and married women versus single women. Of course, there's got to be a huge difference. So, what are your thoughts? What do you think? Do you think that men are happier than women? Do you think single men are happier than married men when they retire? Do you think that single women are happier than married women when they retire, or vice versa? I'm just curious. I'm curious to hear from you guys. I think that married people overall tend to be happy because they have a partner, but a lot of single men and women are happier because maybe they were in a toxic relationship and now they're not. And so for them, it is better to be single. I'm just talking as far as having help, having a helpmate, because people pointed that out too. Well, at least you're married. Yeah, that's true. That it does make a difference, and especially if you're married to your best friend, and that is nice. But I know a lot of single men and women that also have their kids and they're close to their kids, and I'm sure that's beneficial. But don't get to be one of those grouchy old people that scares everybody off and you're mean, and then you will be lonely. Be nice. I know it's harder. They say that your true personality intensifies as you get older. So if you were kind of a mean, grumpy young person, you're going to be an even meaner, grumpy old person. So watch that, because there's a lot of people, I mean, they probably don't feel that way on the inside and they don't realize that they come off that way. I mean, I've even seen that in the comments. I can tell it's just, this is just some old guy and he can't help it. He just doesn't realize how he comes off. And so I know, I remember seeing, my father-in-law behave that way. He could come off kind of grumpy, but I knew inside he was a softie. But you just get that way with age. It's just part of aging. Not for everybody. Some people get happier. My dad did. He actually changed totally. He was mean and grumpy when he was, when we were young, and then as a grandpa, and as he got older, he became, the soft, easygoing, fun grandpa. It's like, who are you? This was not the guy that raised me. But so yeah, but that was good that he turned out that way. It was a lot more pleasant to be around when he got older. And my mom she was always a joy, even when she was young, and she was even more of a joy when she got to be older. She was so flamboyant and funny, and I miss her. She was a doll. She was my best friend, just like my daughter and I are best friends. Well, I'm she's my best friend. I don't know. She's got friends besides me, but I love my boys too. They're pretty cool. Anyway, oh, 15 minutes. I always try to keep these short because according to YouTube, people only watch like 2 to 3 minutes. So the rest of this time, I'm just jabbering to myself. I know some of you watch all the way through, and God bless you. I appreciate you. If you did watch it all the way through, leave me a comment. I'm curious to see. I'll know who did. I just want to know because I can kind of tell by the comments that a lot of people, they just watched me for a few minutes and formed an opinion about what they think I'm going to be talking about. And then they come at me and it's like, you did not watch the video because that is not what I talked about. So anyway, oh, there you go. Well, I did pretty good. I think I only said anyway like 3 times this time, right? I think I did okay. So, well, there you go. Men versus women. Just basically what we thought. Yeah, nothing new there. So, oh, I'm gonna let you guys go. There's enough time left. If you want to watch the Super Bowl, go for it. As for me, I think I want to go outside. It's nice out. It's actually kind of warm, so I'm gonna enjoy the day. So I'm gonna let you guys go. Enjoy the game. Otherwise, I'll see you in the comments. Have a great day, guys.